He was a great painter, great musician, a sculptor. Like, I have this pipe that he made out of clay, and it's this like withering spirit, tortured spirit person.
Hello everyone. What if everything you thought you knew about Kurt Cobain was only half the story? At 59, Krist Novoselic, the quiet force behind Nirvana, finally broke his silence, revealing raw, emotional truths about Kurt's final days, the pressure of fame, and what really tore the band apart. No headlines, no hype, just honesty that shocked even die-hard fans. This isn't just another rock documentary. It's the untold chapter, the one whispered in the background all these years. Stick around, because what Krist shared will not only reshape how you see Nirvana, but how you understand fame, friendship, and the cost of being a legend. Krist Novoselic never wanted fame. When Kurt Cobain died and Nirvana collapsed, Dave Grohl went on to become a rock legend with Foo Fighters. Krist, however, disappeared. No tours, no press statements, no drama, just silence. But behind that quiet exit was a man carrying the deepest scars of all. He had once shared the floor with Kurt, jammed in dingy basements, slept in vans, and held the band together when chaos was ripping it apart. Born in Compton, California, to Croatian immigrants, Krist Novoselic didn't have an easy start. His family eventually settled in Aberdeen, Washington, a bleak town that often crushed the dreams of those growing up there. He was tall, awkward, and spoke Croatian, making him an outsider in every way. At 15, his parents sent him back to Zadar, Croatia, to live with relatives. There, in a smoke-filled Balkan diner, he heard punk rock for the first time. Sex Pistols, Iggy Pop music that sounded like it was screaming back at the world. It lit a fire inside him. When he returned to the States, Krist threw himself into music. While others chased flashy solos, Krist chose bass, the backbone, the steady rhythm, the quiet power. He wasn't after glory, he was after something to keep him grounded. And then he met Kurt Cobain. Kurt was quiet, intense, and strange. He handed Krist a cassette tape of his old band, Fecal Matter, and said, "Give it a listen." Krist didn't listen for months, but when he did, something clicked. It was raw, broken, beautiful. That tape sparked the first flame of what would become Nirvana. There were no grand ambitions back then, no record deals. Just two misfits trying to make sense of the world. Along with drummer Aaron Burkhardt, they started jamming in garages, playing tiny gigs, scraping by on instant noodles. After Aaron left, they cycled through drummers until finally landing on Dave Grohl, a powerhouse from the band Scream. That's when things really began to click. While Kurt was the chaos and Dave the driving force, Krist was the gravity. He held the rhythm steady. He was the anchor. When Nevermind released in 1991, everything changed. They were expecting to sell 50,000 copies. Instead, the album exploded, selling millions. Smells Like Teen Spirit, which started with Krist's haunting bass line, became an anthem of the disillusioned youth. Overnight, Nirvana was everywhere. Headlines, TV, stadiums. They even knocked Michael Jackson off the top of the charts. But success brought pressure, and pressure brought cracks. Kurt once admitted he never wanted to be the frontman. He just wanted to play guitar. The spotlight suffocated him. Behind the scenes, Kurt was unraveling. He battled heroin addiction, chronic stomach pain, and severe mental health issues like bipolar disorder and ADHD. He was hospitalized multiple times between 1992 and 1994. Friends tried to help. His wife, Courtney Love, pleaded with him to enter rehab. Krist remembered being the first person Kurt called after trying heroin. "Don't do it," he told him. But Kurt was already too far gone. During the In Utero tour in 1993, they played over 50 shows, performing for tens of thousands. Each show made millions. Each show drained Kurt a little more. He often felt like he was just clocking into a shift. The fame, the expectations, it was all too much. He avoided friends, stopped eating, couldn't sleep. Then came that tragic day, April 5, 1994, when Kurt Cobain died by suicide in his Seattle home. His body wasn't found for 3 days. The world mourned. 5,000 fans gathered in Seattle. Millions cried, but Krist said nothing. No interviews, no public tears, no TV tributes. He vanished. He later said, "I always felt like I was trying to hold on to Kurt, even when I knew I couldn't." For Krist, the loss wasn't just about the band. It was about losing a brother, a soul connection. After the collapse, the world waited for Krist to step into a new spotlight. He didn't. Instead, he formed a strange, short-lived band called Sweet 75, followed by another low-key group, Eyes Adrift. He experimented with folk rock, sang backup vocals, played the accordion, and released indie music videos shot on old phones, and then he went back to farming, flying small planes, jing on a local community radio station, living simply in Deep River, Washington. But Krist didn't just fade away, he changed lanes in 1992. When Washington State proposed labeling rock albums as pornographic, Krist joined Nirvana in publicly protesting the bill. He wasn't doing it for applause. He believed artists should fight for what's right, not just sell records. In 2020, a Facebook post in which he praised Donald Trump's speech during the riots went viral. Suddenly, he was being labeled a fascist sympathizer. Krist deleted his accounts, shut off the noise, and said one thing: "I don't support fascism. I believe in dialogue, no drama, just truth." And then he returned to music once again. In 2023, Krist joined forces with Kim Thale from Soundgarden, Matt Cameron from Pearl Jam, and others to form Third Secret. No press tour, no flashy launch. They recorded the album in a woodshop and quietly released it online. Then, in 2025, Krist finally opened up in a rare podcast appearance, sharing his memories of Kurt Cobain with unfiltered emotion. Krist didn't reveal shocking secrets. He didn't exploit the past. He told the truth with heart. And the world listened. Dave Grohl later said, "Every time I listen to Kurt's lyrics again, I discover something new about him." The public finally began to appreciate what Krist had quietly done, all along holding everything together, being the musical spine of a band built on emotional chaos. When Nirvana was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014, Krist stood on stage, not with swagger, but with gratitude. "We never set out to become legends," he said. "We just wanted to be heard." By 2025, Kurt Cobain's estate was worth over $450 million. His guitar from Smells Like Teen Spirit sold for $4.5 million. Nirvana's albums have sold more than 75 million copies, and Krist Novoselic, he's never tried to cash in, never sold a tell-all, never wrote a memoir. His legacy is in every bass line, every silence, every choice to step back and protect something sacred. Today, his image doesn't appear in headlines, but his work lives on in quiet tributes, indie records, political efforts, and reunion performances that refuse to commercialize grief. His message is simple: live honestly, play with heart, and remember that passion, not fame, is what gives music its soul. Krist once said, "You are your own superstar. What matters most is kindness and real passion for music." Krist Novoselic may not have been Nirvana's voice, but he was its foundation, its pulse, its steady hand in the storm. The one who kept playing when the lights went out. The one who's still here quietly keeping time for the memory. If this story touched you, drop a comment, hit like, and share it with fellow music lovers. Let's keep the spirit of Kurt Cobain and Krist Novoselic alive, because sometimes quiet voices leave behind the most powerful echoes. Thanks for watching.